everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Carrie. I am Carrie LeZotte, your Director of Cable and Community Relations here at BCTV. And with me today, we are going to be talking cable. We're telling the cable story. And I have Eric Woody, who's the Government and Regulatory Affairs person with Comcast, who is our largest provider here in Bloomfield Township, and Jennifer Jambor, who is with Human IT, which helps provide digital equity, we could say that, for people in our region and our community. So welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting us on the show.
Yes, of course. So there's so much to talk about when it comes to cable, and it's hard to know. Like, we could be here for hours. I just got back from the National Association of Telecommunication, and NATOA is the conference, National Association of Telecommunication Officers and Advisors. So it's talking about cable all week. And I think that what we really want to focus on is what we can do for our community here in Bloomfield Township and others that are the communities that we serve. You can see cable. People still watch cable on Channel 15 and channel what is the other channel? Channel 18 in other communities that are close by. So and we've been broadcasting on YouTube. We started that a couple of years ago, so people can see us that way as well. But we really want to talk about, cable it gets more and more expensive, I think, as people want to add different channels and have different kinds of services. And so we want to, for those people that are maybe having trouble paying their bills, or they want cable, it's not quite what they, the service that they're looking for at the time. We want to be their resource, right? And so maybe we should start with, I think I'm going to explain to people what they're paying for on their cable bill right now, so they can see, because part of what pays for what we do here at the cable building is not taxpayer dollars, which I think people think that everything that goes on in government is paid for by tax dollars. But what we are paid for, we're funded by franchise fees, which come from cable bills exclusively right now in Michigan. And if you look at your cable bill, this is one from the fire department that you'll see here, and you can open this up. This is if you're paying for cable. You will see a fee attached to this, and it's right here. It's called a franchise fee. And then there is a fee that says public, education, and government access fee. So we're going to look at that. Whoa, you see it? There it is. So that's what we're paying, and that's a percentage of the cable bill that you can see right there. And then the other thing you'll notice on this is this down here. This is our phone number here at the cable building. Right there is our cable, right here in Bloomfield Township. So if you're having trouble, you don't first want to call us. You don't want to first call this. You want to call Xfinity first.
1-800-XFINITY.
1-800-XFINITY is where you want to call first. But then if you are still having trouble, or if you have other cable-related issues, then you eventually call us. So we're funded because of national policy that established this, and then each state is a little bit different. But we here in Michigan, all of our franchise fees, it's all negotiated at the state level, which I think is probably makes things easier for the negotiations as far as the cable companies, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was just a standardized state document, kind of to streamline franchise agreements with cable companies so everyone's on an equal playing field, and just to make the process a little bit faster.
Right. And the reason why it's broken into two fees, PEG fees all go exclusively for capital funds for cable, and then franchise fees, those get spent on pretty much anything government wants them. So for here in the township, we spend most of that franchise fee on our operations doing communications, but in other communities they pay for public safety and roads repair and a whole variety of things, to the tune of, I believe, $100 million in Michigan. So that's a pretty good chunk of change.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, and so we're not going to talk about it in this show, but in another show we'll talk about people like to stream or not to stream, because I think people have been when they say cutting cable, they've been eliminating their cable from their bill and just streaming exclusively. But I guess it depends on like what bundle of programming you want to see. It depends on how much you end up paying. So we'll take a look at that in another time. But Eric, can you just start by giving me kind of an overview of what is your job? Like, how can this be a full-time job, like managing all this cable stuff?
So I do government and community affairs for Comcast. I cover 7 different counties. So all of Oakland County, Washington County, Monroe, Jackson, Hillsdale, Livingston, and Lenawee. And essentially, it's my job to manage our relationships with county level government all the way down to mayors, supervisors, village presidents, with all the municipalities that we serve and provide service to. So kind of, the connector, to the community. Because I get that question asked a lot, actually.
Sure.
Like, what do you do? So the easiest way is relationship managing and being the connector from external folks to internally to help solve problems and create partnerships.
Right. And I mean, if there's a problem with people are having and it's related to cable, they can call us here at the cable building or email us, and we will help, I guess, escalate the situation if they've already called Xfinity and tried to get things solved there, or if they are, if there's a cable line that's down in their community, somebody has to come and repair that. And so if it's not electrical, it could be us possibly. So, yeah. So, but in order to do that, they need to try and take care of it first, and then they can call us here. And then if it still doesn't work, then we get Eric involved and we fill out a form, and then your team kind of takes over from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit earlier off camera about the national BEAD funding that's going on. Do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Sure. Absolutely. So the federal government has rolled out funding called BEAD, broadband equity, access, and deployment. And Michigan is getting about $1.6 billion for the state of Michigan, which is a lot of money. And the purpose of that is really to get all the residents that are either unserved or underserved, meaning they don't have access to internet or broadband, or maybe their current service is below what the federal threshold is, and for speed-wise. And this funding is designed to really impact those folks or more rural areas to be able to get them access and get served throughout the state.
I think I was looking at, maybe it was Jennifer's website or maybe there was some combination when I was researching, and a lot of the funding is going to Indian communities in Michigan, right? And so then it's also for urban communities and mostly rural here in Michigan. And I think at the conference when I was there, we were talking about Austin got a lot of the funding for urban communities. So, and the other thing that I think we talked about is even though it's this huge $1 billion grant or funding pool, it's still not going to be enough to be able to get the internet, the broadband out to everybody, right? So we have to keep thinking about growing our workforce and all that is required. That eventually everybody needs to be connected. Jennifer, can you talk to me a little bit about what Human IT provides and what the mission is of that organization?
Yeah. So we're a nonprofit organization, a national nonprofit. We were fortunate enough to expand our operations to the state of Michigan, having 2 facilities here in 2020. But ultimately, Human IT is focused on making sure everybody starts at the same page, right? We want to make sure that there is equitable access to opportunities for all to thrive in our digital world. And for us, what that means is you really have 4 key access to 4 key pillars. You have a working device, you have an internet connection at home, ideally a broadband connection. You have some form of digital skills training so that you know how to use the device. And should something go wrong or you have questions about it, we support people with technical support.
And I'm just going to back up to the working device. You mean something more than a cell phone, right? So you're talking about a computer.
Yes.
That's really what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay, because I don't want to say everybody, but many people have phones, and this is providing them with that extra step so they can fill out job applications and know how to make all those things happen.
Exactly. And we know specifically even in Oakland County, I mean, this data is from 2021, but there's over 28,000 households that don't have a working computer. So yeah, they're trying to apply for a job on a cell phone, and a lot of times those are not compatible at all.
So I did want to follow also about the tech support. So there is a phone number that they can call. And so if you were having trouble, this is another resource for them so that they can call the phone number, and someone, you said, will sit on the phone with them while they talk to a internet provider like Comcast. Yes?
Yeah, so we are, I mentioned a nonprofit, and everything we do comes from either some type of federal, state funding, or based on our corporate partnerships or other partnerships in community with foundations. So yes, our goal is that we want to make sure people are connected, and we want to do it at a place that's comfortable for them. So they can come to our store, which is in Detroit, and we can talk about that a little more, or someone can call us, and we will. We know that everybody needs to start on a level playing field, and sometimes people aren't comfortable calling the cable company, right? It becomes something that overwhelms them, and we will sit with them, do that, and guide them through the process and let them know what's available in their community.
Yeah. Well, that's so helpful. So we have the number for Human IT on the screen for us. Right, there it is, 888-268-3921. And the location of the store, if we can put that up, it's on the Avenue of Fashion, which is, I think, in the University District, about 10 miles from Bloomfield Township. But I think anybody, I think especially our seniors, they probably remember the Avenue of Fashion when it was really, it was a destination for shopping. And so now it's a destination for technology. So what is in the store? What is, if people go there, what can they shop for?
Yeah, it opened in June of 2023, so we've only been there just over a year. And it's a place, a community space is what we like to call it. But we sell working devices. We keep about 15 different models in the store, so depending on what somebody needs, or we have an online store. Ultimately, our digital navigators that are housed in the store will greet somebody, try to understand what they need, and then connect them with one of those 4 resources. The best thing about it is anybody can shop there. So as a nonprofit, when we started, our goal was to support, Eric used this term earlier, covered populations or income-constrained individuals, people that are really living at 200% or below the poverty level. But when we were able to open this space, which is the first of its kind in the country, it was our very first store, we shifted our focus. And we want to make sure that anybody can come in and support our mission. So you need a refurbished Mac, you need a refurbished Dell, that's something that we can help you with.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. Eric, can you talk a little bit about the relationship between Comcast and Human IT, because it goes beyond locally. It's a national partnership.
Yes, I'd love to. So Comcast is devoted to addressing digital equity throughout the country. So, and that's one of the big focuses in my role. When I say digital equity, I would define it as, people are running into challenges with either access to broadband or devices that we've been talking about, that not being able to get or afford a laptop. Digital literacy, so people that may be able to afford a laptop or can afford, getting Comcast's services or another internet service provider. They just don't know how to navigate the internet, or maybe they are unsure of that. Or even folks that just, they have some basics for like how to use their laptop or their device, but there's just still a lot of fill in the blanks for that. So those would be some of the big challenges, and I believe the state has also identified that as being some of the challenges, just like that we've identified. So Comcast has looked for awesome partners like Human IT with Jennifer here to really help us address those issues locally in the community, throughout the state, and nationally. So they're not our only partner, because I believe we support or partner with a few hundred in Michigan, across the state. But, their goals align with ours and with our mission to get people access and get them connected.
And so that just the partnership that you're talking about. So Human IT is a nonprofit is getting funding from Comcast. That's how that works, because you guys can't do all the jobs.
Yeah.
And so they're providing a service that you help fund their mission, essentially, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think, there's a question we get a lot is, people sometimes, and I think the reason I wanted to have you on is that you are the provider for most of Bloomfield Township, and people ask us why they can't get other providers into the township, and that's because it's expensive. It's expensive to run the cable to the different homes, and that's why, to try and encourage some other provider, it just costs a lot of money. So thanks for being here and making the investment in Bloomfield Township.
Yeah. To add on to that, to give an idea for costs, I would say Comcast nationally, we do about $20 billion of investment in the past 5 years.
B with a B.
Yeah.
Yeah, billion with a B, and that's in nationally or
That's
nationally? Sure.
Yep. So definitely. A lot of capital is devoted to make sure that we continue to be leaders in the industry. And, having other providers get into a community, it is very costly.
Right.
Which is why, some of them will focus on getting to other communities that have less providers to choose from.
Right. Well, and that's why I wanted to have you on, so people could see that there's a person, because I think sometimes we pick up the phone and we try and get service for different things, and you just get so frustrated with, I guess there's a lot of AI customer service happening now, and that there are real people attached to
of course
solving these problems. And you're one of them, and you're one of them that's doing it.
I'm here to help solve problems and, just be helpful in any way possible.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate that. So what else can we talk about? I think, have I made it through my list of all the things? Oh, digital literacy workshops. So one of the things that is happening, not just here in Bloomfield Township, but happening nationally, and is providing digital literacy. And that has always been one of the goals of PEG stations, in that the very early days, 40 years ago, when cable was just starting and the equipment was really expensive, we provided, people could come in and operate cameras, and not everybody had a camera in their hand, or video camera in their hand like they do now. But people still need to have a way to figure out how to get that video from their phone out to the air. And so now I'm trying to bring in more workshops so that people know how to use these tools that are readily accessible, but maybe they're still not, the storytelling skills aren't happening. So we are offering digital literacy workshops. So I encourage you to sign up for those workshops. We're going to do a day of half-hour sessions, digital literacy workshops from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they're 30-minute presentations. We're going to do an overview of kind of like a mini annual report of the cable station, so people understand where the funding comes from and what's going on with cable legislation. And then we're going to do some intro to documentary documentary workshop. And then we're going to end with our librarians here in Bloomfield Township do a podcast show called Distracted Librarians, and they're going to do a live show for us.
That sounds fun.
So people can see what goes into a podcast happening. And if you do the beginning and the end of the day, you've completed your first, I guess, what you have to do in order to be a podcast or a producer here at BCTV is to attend the orientation and to come to 2 productions, and then you can move towards making your own show. So cool. We try and make it easy for people.
That sounds like an awesome opportunity for residents.
Yes. Yeah. Residents of Bloomfield Township, but also the other 5 communities that we serve, which are the B's and F, as Steve likes to say. So it's Bloomfield Hills, Birmingham, Bingham Farms, Beverly Hills, and Franklin. I think I got them all. Anything else?
I think we should probably go back to, if a resident is having problems or issues. I know we kind of already talked that in the beginning, but
it's worth repeating.
Yeah, definitely worth repeating. Because people do have challenges with their bills, or if there's a down cable line or something. They're just not sure. Again, 1-800-XFINITY is a way to do that, but also you can go online to our website, download the app, right? And you can also talk to our customer service representatives to, hopefully get your problems resolved. I know you mentioned AI earlier. When I was looking into some of our internal data, about 60% of the problems are actually solved with our artificial intelligence chat. But you can still connect with real people. Again, I exist. I'm here to help as well, and same with you and your team. But there's many avenues to be able to solve a problem. So I just wanted to make sure that was highlighted, because I feel like a lot of folks would be really interested in how do I get through it and get this resolved as fast as possible.
Yes. And 60% can pretty much do it on their own, and that's solved by calling customer service.
Yeah, typically. If there was a service outage, you should be able to go on the app, either speak with, or type, chat with a real person, or through online and get a credit to your bill or get the problem resolved.
So I have a question, because I think that rebooting also solves a lot of the problems. So I would have to say, for my own tech issues, I would say probably at least 50% of the time, if you reboot, it magically works. So, I don't know, with cameras, with computers, with whatever. It seems like if you stop it and restart it, then somehow, I don't know, it just needs to have a breath.
So most of the issues that have come in from the community for all the areas I cover. Sometimes it's legitimately the power cord is not plugged in.
Is it plugged in? Right. Is it plugged in? But that's
it's one of those, which sounds ridiculous, but that is some percentage. But also, if they have their own modem and router that's compatible, but it's not Comcast's modem router. There's issues that people run into that where maybe they do need a reboot, or maybe after so many years it became outdated and it's not really working as good as it should. So again, I would recommend utilizing the equipment that Comcast is available. It's going to get you the fastest speeds possible for your service level that you have. And we can also troubleshoot with not even having to have a tech come out. We can monitor to see if what issues is happening just with the technology that we have. Okay.
Now, so we did cover how much things cost, and I did a little bit of research, and we're not going to say these are 100% all the numbers all the time, because it depends on what you want. But as far as the main thing that you're doing to help low-income people, so if you have SNAP, Medicaid, some kind of housing assistance or supplemental, some kind of SSI, supplemental security income, you would be qualified for Internet Essentials. And Internet Essentials starts at $9.99. $9.95. I think it's wrong on your website. Did I write it down wrong? Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. We'll have to take a look. Or $29.95. That's for a higher bit rate, so it would be faster then. And then the basic cable, so that's for broadband, which means access to internet. If you want cable, which means CBS, NBC, 10 plus your local channels, that's $20 a month.
Yeah, so 20 to 80. It really depends on what kind of package that you're looking for, what kind of channels. Do you want to watch sports, that kind of thing, and then the other services like DVR, or would you want a traditional cable box, or do you want to use a streaming box like our Xumo box? So
yes, so that's what you should look at. And then if your cable, if it seems to have gone up, there's always different promotions that you can call. Xfinity, 1-800-XFinity, and see what the latest promotion is, and then maybe get that.
Yep.
So.
And you can also, again, chat with our customer service representatives online to see if there is a promotion. Probably would be better to chat with somebody, because you really, each resident probably has certain things they want to watch and that they want included. So that would be probably the best way.
Okay. Jennifer, any final thoughts? We want to remind people, if they want to talk to Xfinity or another cable service provider with someone on the phone to help them, they can call Human IT.
Yes.
Yes, and get that kind of support provided, or they can drop into the store at the Avenue of Fashion.
Yes, yes. One other thing I'd like to just add, because we are a nonprofit, and one thing that really drives so that I don't have to go to Eric and my friends at Comcast all the time and ask for money is the sustainable side of our business. So if there are people listening and you have old or unwanted computers or devices in your home, we take in that tech.
We can donate it to you.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
good.
So you can bring that to the store. You can go on our website, which is human-i-t.org, and fill out a form, and someone will contact you. And we take that stuff in, and that's how we are able to put, just in Detroit, in the community alone, we've put over 20,000 devices into community because people donate their older unwanted tech to us. And we give it a second life, at least 5 years or more.
Excellent. Well, I do just want to talk a little bit about what you've done in the city of Detroit, because you've done a lot there, and I think that our residents work and support many different organizations in the city. So tell us a little bit more about what you've done there.
Yeah. One of the big programs that started our work in Detroit when we opened our warehouse, that's a place where a lot of that tech comes in, was a program called Connected Futures, and it was a result of what was going on during the pandemic. So there was an over $26 million investment by multiple corporations and partners, and we were able to get over 50,000 tablets and computers into the hands of Detroit Public Schools students. So we were a critical resource in that program. We provided the tech support for those devices in partnership with Detroit Public Schools. Again, being a nonprofit, Comcast has funded us. We were their first adoption and innovation fund partner in Detroit. We received an amazing grant where we were able to help get people connected to the internet. And we continue to do work. Like I said, over 20,000 devices distributed, over 6,000 people supported with digital navigation. And, those are great numbers. Those are great outputs, but the outcomes for these individuals are amazing, right? Talking to seniors that have never had the opportunity to really understand how to use a computer and sitting down with them. I know that's not as easy, and it's great that you're doing work like that here in community, but, our team can help with that too.
Great. Thank you.
You're
Thanks. Eric, I thank you for being here. I thank you for your partnership with us here at BCTV.
Always.
And answering our questions and helping support my team. Jennifer, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you to you, our viewers who are watching and who pay your cable bill. And if you'd like to stop in anytime, you know where we are here in Bloomfield Township. We're always happy to see you in person, or I hope that you register for one of our upcoming digital workshops. We'll see you next time.